This is TWiT.
But I've got one more story that we want to cover before we finish up, and that is stop killing our games. It's kind of like the right to repair, but for gaming. And so for this story, we're going out over to Gaming on Linux and talking about a bit of legislation that's working its way through the system in California. It is the California Protect Our Games Act. And this is a bit of law that would essentially say when you are going to retire a game that requires online access to play, you have to either release a patch to allow people to play it offline, or you have to release the server to allow people to self-host. And part of the reason for this is, like, people are paying money for these games. They have purchased these games. And then for a gaming company to then turn the game off and make it no longer work, in a very real way, that's fraudulent. And that is a gaming company stealing those games back. It's piracy, right? It's I hadn't quite thought of it like that, but there you go. That's an interesting turn of phrase. EA is pirating games from us instead of the other way around. And so this is potential law. It has made it out of the Appropriations Committee in California. And then it's going to go to the broader floor, where they're going to look at maybe adding some amendments to the law. And then, at some point, the legislature out there in California will vote on it, hopefully, and see if it actually passes. I'm actually very much in favor of this. Now, this is the sort of thing where you have to write the law very carefully because you could have some unintended consequences. But I 100% think that this is a huge problem. This is one of the I don't know if it's unintended or intentional, but it's one of the consequences of DRM and things like the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And that is that it is so easy for a publisher to steal content back from the consumers. And I think it's wrong. I think you could literally make the case that it's fraudulent. And as I said, it's piracy. It's a publisher pirating content away from its users. And, if it's wrong for a user to pirate a game, then it's wrong for a game publisher to pirate a game in the exact same way. And so I'm 100% for it. I think it should be law in the same way that I like the right to repair acts and give people ownership of their stuff back. It'd be very interesting to watch. And next time we get an update on this, we'll try to remember to bring it and cover it. Keep an eye out for it. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, their counter, the corporation's counter argument is you don't really own it; you're just renting it, so we can take it away whenever. That's kind of what the angle they're trying for, and they don't want you spending time on that old game because they want you to play the new game.
I've got the physical media with it.
Yeah, that's one of the. Well, it does.
Well,
that has been covered in court before. That is established case law that it does matter if there's physical media. Physical media means that you have purchased something and it's not just a license, because that comes back from the old days where we actually had books. You got when you purchased something and you physically had something. It is not just a license. And there have been companies that have tried that with even books before, and the courts have shot that down and said, no. That is not how this has ever worked, and that's not how this is going to start working now. Thankfully.
That's what for years drove the secondhand book market, which also expanded to cover reselling your vinyl and your CDs.
Yeah. Yeah, and so
they tried to stop that, and it's the same argument all the time. They've tried to stop used records and CDs from getting sold. They said, "Oh, VHS, you can record off TV. That it's going to kill movie sales. They had the same argument again and again, and it never actually ever pans out.
VHS is going to stop movie sales. I hate to say it. You know how many times I've had to buy a very popular VHS tape for a movie in our house?
Multiple times, because it's gotten worn out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad. It's really interesting to go back, actually look at the Supreme Court case about VHS. But that's one of those that has been a real win for consumers. That's been referenced several times over the years.
Which is And I'm probably going to be in trouble for suggesting this. I use BookBub to find out when those ebooks are going at real cheap prices for copies that I want to get that I can have, DRM free.
Mhm.
Because then I'll use all the links, and when there's that cheap, I'll buy them for the Kindle, from Barnes & Noble, through Google Books, and in some cases, I'll even go and see if it's available through one of those sources, DRM free.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why, like movies and music, my music, I do have digital, but it's DRM free. So I own the copy. But every movie I have, I don't go through streaming services. I get a physical disc.
Speaking of court cases around this, we actually, in the US, we just had a Supreme Court ruling. There were no good guys in this particular case. It was Cox Communications versus Sony Entertainment. But
and they were both in the wrong.
Well,
yeah, do you root for the devil or do you root for the demon?
Yeah, in this case, it was a good thing that Cox Communications won, because the alternative was a law would stand that said that ISPs were liable for people's downloading of pirated content. And it was like $1 billion judgment against Cox Communications. And it really would have been really bad case law for that to stick around. But, it's a good thing. I think anytime that the insane DMCA copyright can be toned down a little bit is a good thing. And so, probably about the best possible outcome of this, that the Supreme Court looked at this and said, no, we're not going to play this game with copyright. It's not going to work the way you think it does. And interestingly, in this, they went back to the VHS and Betamax ruling, where they said that, there is a legitimate use for this. So you can't outlaw VCRs altogether just because you're afraid people will use them to copy movies.
Well, and to me, I don't see a difference at a higher level of, okay, I'm pirating a movie, or can the phone company be liable because I talked to Jonathan and we decided we were going to rob a bank? So now the phone company is responsible because we did that communication over the phone. I mean, to me, it's like you can't hold the carrier responsible for.
And who fought to make sure that never happened? Ma Bell.
That's what the whole common carrier rules were about here in the U.S. is essentially that. You can't hold the carrier responsible in that case.
But if you're going to use that logic, I can think of another company that would definitely fight against, or another industry that would definitely fight against it.
I mean, I think there's a whole bunch of them. Automobiles,
munitions industry,
automobiles, firearms. I mean, more beyond that.
Tool manufacturers, period.
Yeah. Well, and there is law in the United States that you can't hold a company liable. Like, I'm probably mangling this a bit, but you cannot hold a company liable for somebody misusing their product.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, a baseball bat. Okay, they make them, and then I go and I hurt somebody with a baseball bat. You can't sue the Louisville Slugger Company because I misused their product when it wasn't. That's not what its design was for.
It wasn't intended to knock that baseball off the top of somebody's head.
Not like that.
Yeah. But just for the record, when I was saying earlier was just devil's advocate. I'm all for less DRM. I mean, I get they don't want to lose everything, but there's also a few steps too far. And I am very pro right to repair. Mm-hmm. And I grew up on a farm/ranch. And that's a pretty big deal nowadays with the modern farm equipment, that cars have the law that say they have to have that OBD2 port that you can get error codes and troubleshooting. And big equipment does not have that. Yeah, you have to tie into their proprietary system if you're at all allowed, or you have to just go to the dealer if there's any kind of issue, and you have to use their
Oh, I'd love to see somebody that could afford to take that and say, this is a vehicle. Doesn't it fall under the OBD2 law?
I'm sure that's been tried. There is a there is a John Deere carve out to that law. Is exactly what it is. New York had a big right to repair law, but then there was all these carve outs in there that made it just basically fluff. It was all the important stuff was an exception made for. Mm-hmm. But then on
it got hollowed out.
Yeah. But on the flip side, there is a lot of farmers and a lot of Eastern Europeans are leading the charge in this. They're hacking their tractors and farm equipment to get around a lot of this stuff. I mean, I
remember talking to a hacker goes by the name of Sick Codes, got Doom running on the controller for John Deere tractors several years ago. That was a big deal. There's a lot of research going on into that. How to jailbreak a tractor.
I can see where farmers would want to be able to play Doom while they're out in the field.
Exactly. If you enjoyed this clip, be sure to check out the Untitled Linux Show. You can find us in your favorite podcasting app or subscribe to our YouTube channel down in the links below. See you there.